In the temple hall, people stood close together, chanting hymns. A priest took a small lamp with fire around the main deity. Krishna squeezed himself in the small space in the center of the hall and prayed. An hour passed, or two. He lost track of time. In his prayer, Krishna felt a deep silence within. The quietness of breath, a deep void where the incense smells, the tinkling bells, the hymns, all gathered. In the end, he walked in the corridor around the deity 7 times. With each step, he wished for the wellness of all those he loved. Now, long gone or apart. He felt an emotion of gratefulness for all his experiences, the joys and the sorrows. He felt wincing pain and great love. Outside the temple, the crowds had thinned. A few people milled around, chatting, drenched in colors. A cow walked the street looking for food. Beggars sat on the pavement, content at the day's gathering. The sun was setting now. It would be dark by the time Krishna got back home. He walked back along the main street towards the forest. At the bridge over the mountain river, she stood, waiting. The same woman who held Krishna's hand at the temple. She was wearing a purple sari. Her hair was wet. Traces of color still in her hands. As Krishna walked towards her, she looked directly at him. Her eyes filled with desire, her heart racing. He took her hand and they walked together towards the forest, a tension between them. "You live in this town?" asked Krishna. "Yes," she said. They went mute. Words seemed superfluous. At the first clearing in the forest, Krishna drew her close and looked into her eyes. They were black and had an openness about them. He could see his reflection in them, surrounded by trees. Krishna and the woman stood close. She felt the warmth of his breath. He put his arms on her waist and she stiffened a touch, then relaxed. They kissed, gradually undressed, and got lost completely in each other's bodies. Afterwards, lying on the canopy of leaves, they felt the sharp touch of the cold mountain air on their naked bodies, and the rustling of leaves underneath them. They held hands and looked at the dark sky and the numerous brown leaves above their eyes. The trees seemed to look away. They were alone, together. Their eyes met again, this time without the lust, and they saw one another for what they were. Journeying spirits gathering for a brief moment of solace. Their breaths ebbed and flowed together. An eternity passed. The moon came directly over them. They watched its soothing rays. Eventually, the woman breathed a heavy breath, got up, dressed, and left. No words were said. Krishna lay there in silence for a while. As the wind got cold on his skin, he began his journey back to the village.